Kathy, thanks so much for being here today. And
happy to do it.
And for bringing your son with you.
Happy to do it.
You're the executive director of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about JDRF?
I've been involved with JDRF in West Michigan for several years. I've been on the board and I've been a volunteer there. Last October I took the position as executive director. I'm completely amazed with this organization. Their goal is to fund a cure for research, and they do an amazing job raising money and directing that money toward the channels that they feel are going to best give us a cure for our disease.
It's wonderful to hear that someone so competent is at the helm. Because we've been working for a while together, and
Yes.
and congratulations on your new position.
Much.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of diabetes in your family? Is there one with you or your husband?
No, actually, we were quite ignorant about diabetes when Gabriel was diagnosed. Neither of us knew anything about diabetes. My grandfather had type 2 or age onset adult diabetes, and when they first told us he had diabetes, I thought, oh, it's going to be a surgery. Oh, I don't want him to have to go through that. And didn't realize the lifestyle change that it would be. It actually affects every area of our lives. There's nothing that goes untouched.
Is Gabriel your only child with diabetes?
No, Gabriel was 4 when he was diagnosed, and I was 8.5 months pregnant. 16 months later, when our youngest Nick was 15 months old, he was diagnosed with type 1 as well. And that one we caught a little easier. We knew the symptoms, we knew the signs. When Gabriel was diagnosed, he was a very sick little boy. He was in ICU. We were in the hospital for about 5 days with him. Nick, it was an overnight visit because we knew the drill.
Unfortunately, you were experienced.
Unfortunately, we were.
Well, what was it like, in those early years with 2 children?
It was. With 1 child with diabetes, it's all you can think of. With 2, there wasn't a second where we didn't have some type of alert. With a toddler with diabetes, you're always second guessing yourself. Your first instinct when they're fussing is to say, oh, he's tired. Well, no, his blood sugar might be low, it might be high. We need to, poke his finger and test and see where he is. When he was real young, he was getting tested at least a dozen times a day, I would say. Poking his toe or poking his finger. Nicholas was. Just because you can't tell, they can't communicate with you and tell you how they're feeling, and you don't know. Even with preschoolers, it's very difficult because they're not always in tune with their bodies right away. They learn the feelings of being high and being low and what is quote normal unquote. But it's a difficult. It's easier now that they're a little bit older and they can talk to us and they understand their disease a little bit better too.
Well, as a mom myself, and knowing all the concerns that we have with our children, mm-hmm. I can't even imagine, living day to day and night to night, being concerned about.
Yeah, the nights are the toughest time because
Are they really?
They're out of touch. Yeah, blood sugars. Can rise and drop. Nicholas has had a terrible time with seizures at night. The first time he was 3, and normally in the average person, when you get excited or anxious about something, your blood sugar goes up. Nicholas goes the opposite way and he drops. And he was excited about Santa coming, and his blood sugar plummeted, and he had convulsions and seizures and hallucinations, and that was the beginning of having. Anything would set this off. A teacher coming back to school after a maternity leave would get him so excited to have his teacher back that we couldn't keep his blood sugars up even during the day. So he's had a much more difficult time keeping him steady than Gabe's. Just kind of a steady kid and an easygoing kid, and I think that helps him a little bit.
Wow. What an extraordinary family. I can't thank you enough for sharing that information, with us. It's so important to know and put a face on why we're involved with educating people about science that may have an effect.
Oh, definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about when you first learned about stem cell research?
Well, actually, the boys, Gabriel and Nicholas, were selected to go to Children's Congress for JDRF in Washington, D.C. And they bring 150 kids from across the country to Washington to meet with their legislators there and talk to them about what life is like with diabetes. And they have a tremendous impact on our legislators because they remember the kids, they remember the stories. And when we got there, they started talking to us about stem cell research. It was one of the things we were supposed to talk to the legislators about from an adult point of view. And it made me have to, I understood the message I was to deliver, but I had to go back and learn a little bit more about it. And the promise that it offers is incredible. They've been able to replace insulin-producing cells from cadavers in people with type 1 diabetes, but there's a very limited source of those islet cells. And potentially from stem cell research, it could potentially be an unlimited source of those islets, and that would be a pretty great thing.
That would change your whole world.
I can't imagine.
And those that you love the most.
Exactly. I can't imagine.
Kathy, thank you so much for taking time and to come here with Gabriel. Good luck to you. Good luck to you in your job, and good luck to you with your family. They're a beautiful family.
Thank you very much.
Lynn?
My thanks to you, Kathy and Gabriel, for sharing your ideas with us this morning. I think it's fantastic, and I think the more we hear, the more we understand about the situation. So thanks again for being here. When we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Jack Mosier from the University of Michigan and see what the potentials are for stem cell and the quest to find cures. We'll be right back.